All right. Hi, Sabine.
Hi there. Hi, Stephanie. It's so good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. I am so excited to have you. I know you have a lot to share to the world. So I'm very excited to ask you all these great questions. And you're in Florida, right?
I am, yes.
Yes. And Sabine, are you willing to do a quick Q&A with me? It's 5 questions in 1 minute.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. What's your favorite thing about living in Florida?
That's easy. The weather and the beach.
Right? 2 things you do to release stress.
Meditation and nature walks.
Love that. What's a German tradition you still enjoy?
I would say the Oktoberfest. Since it's October right now, I am enjoying it right now.
3 things you couldn't live without.
Oof. Well, I shall say I couldn't live without integrity.
Oh, wow.
My family, my husband and my 2 canine children, they are my everything. And I would say anything food related would be bread. The good German bread.
And so your favorite meal to cook would be?
I shall say it's my Abendbrot. I don't cook.
I love it. Okay, well, that was our little Q&A. I would like to do a short intro of you, Sabine. You are an inspiration in your community. You're a speaker and author. You help coaches grow their business. You work with music as well. And you offer training and master classes. So that's a lot. That's really amazing. But first, I'd love to know a little bit more about your German origins and general background.
Sure. Yes, I was born and raised in Hamburg, Germany. And I was born in a family, nothing special, no special background. I was born into a lower middle class family. And I had a good upbringing, even though I was born, like 15 years after World War II ended. So there was still a lot that had to be rebuilt, and we didn't have a lot. But I always felt rich because of the way my family raised us, because you can see luxury in the little things. And sometimes in today's day, we might forget it. So I had a pretty happy childhood, but I was always a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I love to perform, I love to act and sing, and that's what I did. I love to teach. I had my little doll set up and I was the teacher. So in retrospect, it really showed me, I think that's my journey. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it didn't come naturally to begin with, because when school came to an end and I had to make a decision what to do with the rest of my life, I had no idea, right? So I listened to the well-meant advice of my dad, who said, Sabine, find a job with benefits and a good salary so you can pay your bills and have left something over to pursue your hobbies, right? By that, he meant my acting and my singing that I started pursuing in my teenage years. So I thought it was a good idea, and I did. And I ended up working as a claim adjuster for an insurance company. Had my business associate, and that's it. But you can only imagine someone like me who loved to sing, to dance, to act, to be have interaction with people, that was not my idea.
Yeah.
So there's always something more. And even if you grow up in a traditional German upbringing or family, there's still more to pursue. And obviously, I now live in the United States. There's still the big journey that I had to take. But I want to make sure that I don't interrupt any of your questions that you may have. But basically, this is my upbringing. Mm-hmm. I was in Germany, and I did a little bit more. Well, let me finish the story so you know where actually where my transition took place, where I moved to the United States, but at least where it's getting started. And I believe your listeners would be interested to hear that too, because I didn't end up staying working as a claim adjuster because something happened. And I truly believe it happens with many of us. Maybe not everyone, but I believe with many of us. You come to the point of your life where you feel unhappy. And I believe it happens to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
But not everybody maybe is taking the hint, or not everybody is doing something about it. Let me put it this way. But for me, it was very clear. I was unhappy after the honeymoon period was over. I made good money and I could go out and spend it. And when you're a young adult, that's what we do, right? But one day I saw myself more and more being caved in, boxed in, sitting, having a box life, right? Sitting in my little box office, starting out with boxed cereal in the morning and so forth, right? And I gained weight. But I never forget the one day that really changed everything. And that is feeling that anxiety of, I cannot continue doing this. And I remember that day I was watching out of my window in my little office that I had. I was a lucky one. I had a little window. And I was just staring out of the window and thinking to myself, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. I will get nuts. What is mine to do? Ask and ye shall receive, right? Mm-hmm. I truly believe that once you come to this point and you ask the right questions, and the universe will bring you the answers. And that same week, I had a chance meeting with my former drama and music teacher, Mr. Herbst. And we had a, very casual conversation. But then he said something that changed my life. Well, first he asked me, well, Sabine, are you still active with your theater group? Do you still have your singing group? Do you still perform? And my answer was no. And then he said the one thing that literally changed my life. And that was, what a shame, Sabine. You are so talented. Bam! I mean, that literally woke me up.
Yeah.
And I thought, yes, he is right. And that's when everything changed for me.
I can see. Oh, wow. Yeah. Very powerful.
But here's the next thing. What I mentioned before. Not everybody is taking actions when they come to that point, or if the universe presents them an opportunity. But for me, bam, something started to happen. And you know why most people don't take action? Mm-hmm. Because they don't know the how yet.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the how. I wasn't born in a family of actors, performers. No, but I took action for what I know, one step at a time. So first of all, I went home and opened up the yellow pages to look for acting schools. And I know it's dating me a little bit, Stephanie. I know probably some of your viewers too. But back in those days, we didn't have Google, where we could search really everything. The only thing I knew, acting schools. I wanted to become an actress. So what do? So I found an acting school. I called them. I scheduled an audition. And again, that was the first step. But the next step was, how do I audition? I have no idea how to audition, right? And so I found this little booklet for a little play that we did in school. So I looked it up, I looked for the biggest paragraph, and I memorized it. And then I went to the audition. Little did I know that I actually memorized a male character.
Oh,
It was the inspector. It's called An Inspector Is Coming or something like that. Of course, German. So it was the detective. And I did even something you wouldn't do for a very serious audition, right? I played both of them because it was not just a monologue, it was like a scene. So
okay.
I started out with this scene, had a hat on. I said, well, I'm the detective and you called me. What can I help you with? And I said, oh, it is so nice to be here. And, oh, thank you for coming. Yes, this and this happened. Can you solve the problem? Of course I can, ma'am. Da, 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 da. I mean, it was hilarious. But I guess, but I guess the auditioner saw something in me that was raw talent and was funny and I was not afraid. And I literally was not afraid. So I got it. I got in. I started my 3-year education, became an actress, and the rest is history.
Wow. Oh, that's so inspirational. I love it. And it's kind of like to take that first step. And this is kind of like the whole project, the Wind of Change project is a little related to that. And to take that first step, it takes a little bit of awareness, as you say, and a little bit of courage. But you don't need to figure out everything at once. The one little step is the most important. Just do a little step, anything. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. I love that. And through all those experiences, what is the most valuable thing that you learned about yourself?
Well, it was really about listening to your intuition, your inner guide, or you can also say your higher self. Because I truly believe that we as human beings, everyone, each and every one of us, has been given a gift, a talent from our Creator, however you want to call it. It has nothing to do with religion, but I truly believe that there is something higher than just ourselves, our human being, that created us and that also guides us along our path here on our journey. And for me, it was listening to that inner guide, to that inner guidance, and even against all those what I call the dream stealers that we have in our lives, that I certainly have had. My parents, and back then I had a relationship, and he said, "Whoa!" And my parents said, "Don't do this. You know, this entertainment industry. There's just scandals and all this stuff, and you don't make any money. You starve to death." But I said, "Look, if I don't at least give it a try, I will never know, and I don't want to live in with regret and look back 40 years later and said, why didn't it at least give it a try?" So I did. I really listened to my own guidance that I had there, and I said, I'm gonna do it. I will do it, and stood up for myself.
I love that. Yeah. So in through those experiences and all the wonderful things that you've accomplished, which one came first exactly? At what point did you become an entrepreneur? So you said acting school was the first one, but then you're
Yes.
also there's music. You're an author, speak. So like, what are the steps?
That is a very good question, a loaded question, but I will start out by saying yes. The first step was becoming an actress. And during my time, I still worked to finance my education. And I had my first 2 years, I was a stage actress. And in Germany, it was a little bit easier. So I had a contract for a year or for 2 years. And during that time, I learned a lot. But when I was finished with my contract, I actually got offered a role on TV.
Okay.
And we actually only filmed 6 weeks over the summer. And that's that was my first clue, because I was an independent. I was a freelancer, let me put it this way. Basically, an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
And so during that 6 weeks time, I made more money than I did being employed the entire year as a claim adjuster for an insurance company, working in the corporate world. So that was the first clue, which, by the way, if you do something that you love doing, the money will follow. Remember the dream stealers that I had? Yes. So that was the first thing. And then I was working for 10 years as a stage and TV actress in Germany, in Europe. The next step was, then I was as a director working for 2 years, traveling around the world, putting on shows everywhere. And I met my husband and we did it together. And then we decided we wanted to settle down. So my husband is American. That's why we made the decision to move to the United States. So we moved to Virginia, close to where his parents and his folks lived at that time. And we decided to open up our own business, a performing arts school, passing on the love that we have for the entertainment industry. And that was 26 years ago, believe it or not. That's when I truly became an entrepreneur. But what I also learned during this time was, realized that I was a teacher. I loved to educate and I loved to teach. Obviously, first I started teaching singing, acting, dance, but more and more I became much more than just a dance instructor, acting instructor.
Yeah.
I taught life lessons. And then the next step was teaching actors who want to start a career in the entertainment industry.
Oh.
And yes, and that's when, well, let me go one step before that.
Yeah.
Because I also had a very spiritual journey.
Okay.
Because in the building that we had, a church came in. It was Unity Church of Fredericksburg, and they were looking for a place to be on Sunday. So I rented out the space. But I also wanted to make sure, this all okay. So I went to the first service, and it just spoke to me. It was very practical Christianity, how I call it. And they were looking for all kinds of positions to fill. And they also were looking for a music minister.
Oh.
And I've never done anything like that, but my hand went up. Okay, I will do it. And the reason why I was doing it, because I felt called. And for 6 years, I worked with the minister, and I always knew that music has a very special place, not only in my heart, but in people's hearts. And music is a doorway to any message. Yeah. So I worked together with my minister, and so I always picked a music that could enhance her message for later. Keep that little piece in mind for what I did or what I'm doing now. So, but anyways, I used music that I knew that could fit in musical theater or any other in other areas. But one day I couldn't find anything, because her talk title was The Game of Life, and she made the big game was on, the big football game, and I didn't know anything. So all of a sudden I had the calling. Remember what I said at the beginning, the tuition, the
Yeah.
calling, I have to write a song. And I did. Long
Really?
story short, that was the first that I started writing my own music. And then I wrote many, many music during my time working with her, which later on changed more and more to really inspiring, uplifting music that can enhance my message and my talks that I gave. Okay, so that was the music part, how I became a singer-songwriter. Of course, I've always been a singer in musical theater. I mean, I played roles like Lucy in Your Good Man Charlie Brown, or Sister Amnesia in Nonsense, or one of my favorite roles that I played was Madame Thénardier in Les Miserables
Oh,
at
yes.
the Raimund Theater in Vienna. Uh, so many big roles and great roles that I played. But this was somebody else's content and words and music. But now I am singing my own music, my own melody, my own words. It's a little bit different. So it's very interesting. But to get on to the next evolving step in my journey was I was working with aspiring actors, those who I could get in front of agents and casting directors and helping them start their career besides the recreational part. And then I realized something. Talent is only about 20%. The 80% is your mindset, how you go about it and how you do your business. And that's when I started writing my first book. That's how I became an author. So I wrote the book, Secrets on How to Succeed in Showbiz, in which I really helped performers with their mindset training, how you have to train your emotional muscle. Besides, you have to learn the skills, but your emotional muscle to succeed in this career, because it's hard. There's so much competition out there.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right mindset, you can be as good as it can get. You will always stay your best kept secret. So that's how I started that project. And that led me to write another book called Unlock Your Full Potential, in which I really helped everybody, especially entrepreneurs who really are aspiring to share their gifts and talents and to go the next level up. And that's basically what led me to my online career and working with clients and helping them get to the next level in their life, whatever it looked like. Okay, so there are many different areas. So, but that was the condensed version, because I've been around the block here for a few years.
Oh, I love that. That's so interesting. So you did so well, you kind of find all the things you teach in your classes. So that's one of your passions. And you said to remember the music part. Do you involve music in your teaching? Is that something you do, or yes?
Absolutely. I wrote several songs, and first I believe I wrote them for myself. Because when you start that online journey, as you may know or experience, it's not easy. It's simple, it sounds easy, but it is not, because you
Really
have to
isn't.
learn a lot. And again, same thing as I taught my actors, I always reiterate that with my clients. 80% is mindset, 20% is, give or take, but to give you a rough number, is your talent and is the strategies and the tactics. But mindset is everything. And as I mentioned to you before, I know, and it is scientifically proven, that in order for us to move forward, we have to engage our emotions, because emotions create motion, and that means action. And how can we do this? Let me ask you a question, Stephanie. Are you inspired if you hear a song that's just uplifted and the great words?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
And are you getting emotionally too when you hear a song that's kind of really touches your heart, or maybe heartbreaking, or maybe you are in a situation, maybe you have a breakup with somebody, your boyfriend or whatnot, and then you hear a love song that breaks your heart, and you have to cry even more, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've
Absolutely.
all been there.
Yeah.
So then you know what I'm talking about. It helps to reiterate and helps you
Hmm.
enhance a message. So I wrote several songs that really, help you do that. And one of the songs that I wrote called Jump the Gap. And I've been teaching about that. Jump the gap from knowing to doing. All right. All right. And the music is uplifting, it's engaging. And every time when I share my music with a client, they're like, "Oh wow, this is so great! It really helped me through a tough time, or it really helps me getting engaged."
Wow.
And that's when I feel the joy as well. That yes, I know now I am using my gifts and talents given to me by the Creator to make a difference, to serve, at the same time doing what I love and helping others in the process.
I
Wow.
love to hear it. It just inspires me to do more. I love it.
Yeah.
And when was the last time that you felt fear or you had to overcome a fear or a limiting belief?
Wow. I believe we constantly have to battle a limiting belief at one point or another in
Hmm.
our lives. And obviously, when we start our journey, it can be big, it can be huge. And we have to break down those walls one step at a time. But the big one, I think, was when we hit the last recession, when the big bubble burst of real estate. And I was in a very good part of my life. I had my business for 15 years, and I was ready to move on and just kind of travel the world a little bit, or the States.
Hmm.
I wanted to sell my business, and I had several real estates that I bought during that time, especially a couple more at the end, and another business with real estate attached just before the bubble burst. I
Oh,
think you know where I'm getting
yeah.
at, right?
Yeah.
So, and I had a buyer for my business, but literally 5 minutes before noon, everything fell apart. The deal we had with those who wanted to buy our business went flat. He backed out, and the worst thing was I already made this announcement, so people already who
Shoot.
was attached to me went somewhere else, and
Oh my
I
gosh,
mean,
Sabine.
it left me with a crumbling business, but most importantly, uh, the real estate market that I invested in was just falling, everything was falling apart. And I literally found myself in a position that I had to declare bankruptcy. And that was like the worst experience in my life. Well, I shouldn't say worse. There was something worse. When my mother passed away, that was definitely worse. But from material perspective,
Yeah. Yeah.
from the material perspective way. And then then those doubts and fears are coming in. And with fear, limiting beliefs, everything comes in together, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I, what should I do? And we'll lose everything, and everything is done basically. But then, luckily, because due to my learnings, my spiritual growth that I had, my growth that I started in personal development, personal growth, listened and learned from, you know, people like Jim Rohn and Dr. Wayne, both of them, late Dr. Wayne Dyer, and all those great minds, that I was able to have that resilient mindset. I sharpened my emotional muscle.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that. And after my short, poor me phase that I had, so I pulled myself back together and I said, this is it. And especially when I listened to a famous doctor, famous TV doctor, who talked about bankruptcy at that time because it was big, and said, for many people, it can shorten your life for 7 years. And I said, what? Not mine, not mine. So, when you have something that gets you fired up, whatever that why, and for me it's, hold on, and I lost myself. I'm using these ear pods, but
bloopers.
Live, baby, right? And good that I lost it, because I got so excited in my story here that I need to get some more. Forgot to plug it in. Anyways, so when I heard that, right, that you might lose 7 years of your life, I said no. And now that's when I really start my journey to say, okay, my belief is not that. Because you see, you can change your beliefs at any time. Because what is a belief? A belief is just a thought. Either a thought of something you can't, or a thought of something you can. A thought of something, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose 7 years of my life. Or a thought, hey, this was the best thing that could happen to me, because now I can get forward even stronger and better. And that's what I did. I wanted to go somewhere, and I didn't do a cross-country road with an RV, although it came later. But I said I wanted to travel. I wanted to change something. I wanted to leave the hometown that I was, and I did. I picked up my business, so to a point that I could get somebody in who's running it for me, admin, a manager. Then we packed our bags and we moved to sunny Florida.
Wow.
St. Augustine at that time. You see, and I tell you that, to finish up that story, overcoming that fear got me stronger. And I want to tell all the viewers, if you ever come into a situation, or perhaps you have to go to bankruptcy, entrepreneurs, oftentimes, many successful people go through through bankruptcy, at least one time, or maybe hopefully just one time, but not multiple times. If you go through bankruptcy multiple times, you have to think about, am I really a good business person, a businessman or woman? But with that said, it really has something to do with just building your resilience, your emotional muscle, and move forward with it. And that's basically all it takes.
And you don't have to do it alone, right? As you said, you went and found inspiration and read books, and there's ways around. And if people feel that they're alone, they're not alone. I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I told you I have dogs, right? Can you hear them in the background barking?
Do you have to open the door?
Actually, Freya, my smart female dog, she already did it. She just tapped on it. And so it's
okay.
It's all good.
And Sabine, I want to know a little bit more about your classes that you're doing right now.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I have, I have several courses that are available. I since acting is my background, I now teach entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, to be more confident in front of the camera, lose the fear of doing Facebook Lives, and also using their story to connect with the audiences and doing it in a right way that really takes away the fear of selling. Because don't we all have that?
Yeah.
Because if you do it the right way, if you share your stories the right way, and obviously have a valuable product or service to sell, you don't sell, you just serve. And then there's just an exchange happening, and that's as easy as that is. And so that I do that. And right now, I started a new free training series.
Oh, really?
And yes, and that series helps entrepreneurs to really find the upside of the lockdown, helping them to see what can I do now to move forward, and making this shift in our world that we live in today. How can I thrive through COVID? And I tell you, it is something very simple, very easy that you can do. And there's a few steps that you can do. So if you're interested in knowing how you can thrive through this time, and how you can take your idea, your knowledge to the next level, which means serving and getting compensated for that. So it's really that part. So I'm teaching this free series, and I'm launching next month, and I'm so super excited about it because and as you can tell, every time that I find something that I can serve on a greater scale, that fires me up. And so what I've learned lately, working with my clients, seeing what's happening online, and the fears and the concerns that people have, is not that they don't have knowledge or they don't have an idea. Yes, there is something that they want to share, but there is a gap from that what you have to actually make it work and make an income and make an impact. Because you see, impact and income go hand in hand. The greater the impact you can make, the greater your income will be. Wow. And so I created this program, and it is actually a hybrid. It is a hybrid between course and coaching. So what do I mean by that? So I created a 12-week program. It's a course, a 12-week program, and each and every week I release one more module. Okay. And every week I give but action steps. Okay. When you complete that, then you're ready for the next. So now the coaching comes along because I am in a Facebook group, which is the private, secret, nobody else sees it but my course members. And I'm there Monday through Thursday, every single day. And I'm helping you with those action steps and giving you some more additional coaching. So with that said, I have everything that you need. And believe me, I have worked in the online business for many years, figuring everything out myself, all the techie stuff, right? Which scares the most of the people. Yeah. And I make it so simple, as far as if you can watch a video, me showing you what button to click, I mean, literally on your keyboard, you can do it. And so that's what I call from start to finish in 90 days. So giving you what you have, packaging it the right way, and have it ready for sale by 90 days. And here's one thing what I wanted to say to finish up my thought, because, and I know it for myself, it's sometimes like, oh, buy this program and you have your course in one day, or you make money in 6 days, or whatever it is. Everything that sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. Not to say that you can create a course in one day. I have done it, but I have done it for years. I have all my experience that I have and the content I've created. What I'm talking about is someone who has something in their heart and know they have to serve and know they can make a shift from leaving perhaps a job that they are not very happy about. I've been there, to something that they love.
Well, it's kind of like the bridge. What message could you leave to the world? What does Sabine want to say to the viewers?
Well, I truly believe, do what you love what you do, using your gifts and talents while serving others in the process. And I believe you will have a fulfilled life. And if you do just that, everything will fall in place.
Well, thank you so much, Sabine. I can't wait to put this and share this to the world. I think there's so much content, so much good energy. We see you. You're just like a light. I loved hearing you. So I'm very excited to know more about you. And where can people follow you? You have a website?
Yeah. I do. It's just simply my name, Sabine Kvenberg. I know it's a little bit challenging, but it's SabineKvenberg.com. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook. That's the main platform that I am. And of course, Stephanie, if you would like to share with your community the link in which they can then participate in my free training series, you're happy to do this. I will share it with you.
I definitely will. Definitely will. It'll be in the description of this video. Actually, I'll put all the website as well, and Facebook page. Maybe we'll see if you have a page for your. I'll join that in there. So thank you so much, Sabine. It was a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Stephanie. It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, and all the best to your viewers and audience.
Thank you as well. Bye-bye.